Welcome back on this glorious and amazing day. Love and its complexity. Now, what I will suggest of how to deal and to sort of get the other individual being the channel of a verb, of actions, because we get so confused when the person acts loving, but yet we ask for simple things. A wife could ask a husband, I just really would like you to be home for 1 hour. The time when I put the kids to sleep, it is so difficult. It is so difficult. And if you could do that. So the wife is not really asking for him to move mountains. And this is not a contract for 50 years. But yet we find all excuses. There's sometimes an exception to the rule, but usually there should not be excuses for not helping out your wife with the children in the evening when she just needs an hour of your time, or she just wants a half an hour just bonding time just to go through the day. But yet she gets confused because you keep on telling her that you love her. So now it's love, non-love, love, non-respect. How do you manage with this? How do you go about this? And we're talking now for all those people that are in a relationship. So let me be very blunt and very clear how a verb looks like versus what most of us are used to, which is a noun. When someone says I love you, it's not the words, it's not the gifts, and it's not a lot of other things they do for you. To me, like I just watched last night, I love it, a interview with the 91-year young Jean Chrétien. He was, I believe, the Prime Minister of Canada from 93 for 10 years. And the interviewer asked him, how do you define love? Oh my gosh, this really goes with the topic, and it's so interesting that I just found it last night. And he just used one word: respect. Give me millions of gifts. Give me a surprise party. These are all cute stuff, and I'm not mocking them, but that's not love. Love is to give the person what they want. That is the ultimate love. Does it serve you? Of course it doesn't serve you. Which means the way you process love is, the way most of us is, that it's a noun. I don't feel love when I'm going to come home, help out with the kids. I don't even know what to do. And you know what? To be honest, they're so freaking annoying. And then I know if I do the wrong move, that my wife would tell me, could you talk nicer to them? She happens to be right. But you don't want to go through all this. Okay, so find out how to deal with kids, but don't ignore your wife. So only because you're having a challenge of how to deal with your kids, that doesn't mean you're going to do the opposite of love. Because if your wife asks for something, which is love, that's love, and you can't give it, you don't love her. Yeah, but I love being with her. Well, that's selfish. You don't love her. You love the pleasure derived from her. You don't love her. You love what you gained from her. And that same thing applies to women as well. When they tell their husbands that they love them, and their husbands only have one request. Oh, now I feel the fire coming in, because I've heard this for 40 years, so you can see where the fire is coming from. The one request is, when I'm at work, please do not call me. I'm at work. And if you're missing something from home, it's not the last minute, please go get it for me right now because I'm at work. Especially for those husbands that work at home. I'm so happy for the last 20 years or so we have Amazon. What used to happen before Amazon was a disaster. If you love him, you respect him. And every man, obviously unless there's an emergency, your kid is very sick and you can get out of the house to get the Benadryl, that's a different story. I'm not talking about every case. I'm talking about most cases. If you love your husband, do not call him during work if he says that's the time that he just, yeah, I know you're excited about something and I know you found out something, But men, not all men, but most men, when they're at work, they just want to be at work. And they're not ready to have to get sidetracked. A story just flew into my head. This is from over 30 years ago, when I had the honor to be in Melbourne, Australia for 2 years, in 1988 and 89. Then I came back again. Well, I came back a few more times. But at that point, there was a study hall that's known by the Orthodox Jews called a kollel, where you have individuals after they're married, they sit and they immerse many hours in the study of the Talmud and of Torah. And there's various styles of kollel. Some people will sit there for a year after they get married, or many more years, and they have a whole system how they are supported, which these are very talented and great scholars that dedicate their life to the study of Torah. And I remember vividly that there was, before the cell phone era, in 88, 89, and there was this black phone, this phone on the wall. I used to come to the study hall from time to time, and one day I noticed the phone is gone. So me being curious, which always curious, I asked one of the members, what happened to the phone? Like, this was part of the place, you know? The wives would call every once in a while, and the guy started laughing. It got out of hand. This guy would pop out because he had to get a bottle of milk. This guy popped out because he had to get this. This guy popped out because the wives would constantly call for all these emergencies. And that's not what it's set up. You go to work or you go study, you're basically, that's all you got to do. Now, if you need stuff during the days, a lot of women tell me a lot of stuff what they need, blah, 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 and I give them very simple and practical advice. So if you love your husband, or you claim you love your husband, why would you do things that annoy him, that bother him? Because you actually do love him. But again, in the realm of a noun, you have the feeling of security, you have the feeling of status, you have the feeling, in Yiddish they call it a schlepper. You have a lot of those feelings that you have because you have your husband. But you don't have what I would identify as the real love, which is difficult. The real love is difficult. I wouldn't reward too many people for eating ice cream. Oh, here's $10 because I noticed you had an ice cream. Huh? I'll give you $10 when I see you doing something hard that's challenging. The real love is challenging. It's a verb. It's an action. And it's not only difficult, and not only it's amazing, but love actually means you do what the other person wants you to do, obviously if it's within the realm. Because if the person demands things which are not kind and not nice, obviously that's not included in the love. Please join me next week, where I will most probably go to explain this in a very beautiful and practical way, how it could benefit even to the giver, to the one that's learning now, oh no, I always thought love was the vibes, good vibes. We vibe. That's not love. Oh, it makes me vomit almost. That's important to the dynamic of love, but that's the icing on the cake. The verb of love is the cake. It's the hard work. It's getting together all the recipes and baking it. And the vibes definitely are not part of it. People take a floor of a building and make it as the foundation of the building, and then take the cement of the foundation and put it on the third floor that makes the whole building fall. That's what love is in our society. And it was always, I believe, it was so messed up because people do not really comprehend the verb and the noun. But next week, we will talk about something very fascinating that was thrown into me this morning, this beautiful concept. Thank you so much, because it's the first time it came to me, this wonderful and delightful concept of how you can make love into a verb in a very, very practical way, and actually to motivate you that you won't have to go through the challenges, because who does want want to have like a one-way street, just focus on giving. That's the boring part. Love as a noun is so much easier because you're just receiving and receiving and receiving. Versus a verb, you're just giving and giving. You are going to appreciate the next week's video clip. I have a deep feeling. Thanks for listening, and thanks for remembering that you are way greater than you think you are.